Our weekly visit on Fighting Irish football recruiting begins with Derek Meadows, a highly thought of wide receiver recruit. Mike, we thought we'd be talking about his new destination today, but that got pushed back. What's the story?
Oh, man, Darren, I think covering Notre Dame, we get one of these types of recruitments, I don't know, maybe twice a cycle. I mean, just the ones where it is a war. Like I've been writing, it's a battle between a couple schools, but it's probably more of a war, Mr. Pritchett. This one went down so much to the wire that the kid needed more time. Like that's where things are at. So Derek Meadows is from Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman, 6'6", 205-pound wide receiver. We've been talking about him in these interviews, Darren, for 13 months now. Notre Dame offered him back in June of 2023 when the staff saw him at Irish Invasion, and I logged a prediction for him to go to Notre Dame on June 8th, 2023. So I've liked where the Irish have been at for quite some time, but this race certainly has gotten very close. Here's the gist, Darren. He's got a top 5 schools. It's Notre Dame, LSU, Georgia, Michigan, and Bama. For a while, we thought it was going to be Notre Dame or Alabama. And we knew he had a timeline of committing before the start of his senior season. So that's kind of to catch people up. Maybe you haven't been following this recruitment too closely. I remember now the days are starting to run together, but it might have been like this time last week. I had a source think that he was just going to Bama. Like that was the sense. And then he comes out with his decision date, Darren. And then as soon as a prospect comes with a decision date, you think, okay, and it was this past Saturday, you think he knows where he's going. So then you start really digging. And instead of it being Alabama, which some people thought connected to the recruitment, it is looking like Notre Dame or LSU. That LSU had pulled ahead. And then Notre Dame was like, we cannot lose this prospect. Notre Dame makes a big push last week. And I think that push was so impactful that that's the reason why he moved his decision date back a week. So Michigan's made a run. Bama, they're still trying. I don't think Georgia's really involved here anymore. Or at least I don't expect them to be moving forward. It's just really come down to LSU, Notre Dame. He's in decision mode. Still having contact, Darren, with both staffs. Being the Fighting Irish and the Tigers as we continue on this week. But I wrote an article Monday called The Gold Standard where I had even more information on Meadows. But I think that Notre Dame, my gut right now is that the Irish end up landing Derek Meadows. And Darren, we're going to talk about the rest of Notre Dame's 2025 board. And as I do that, you guys will understand even more so why Meadows is such a huge target for Marcus Freeman and the staff.
One of the major reasons why he pushed things back was the Notre Dame push in his recruitment. Can I just follow up and ask, there seemed to be some thought that Michigan was pushing hard and maybe that had something to do with him pushing his date back. I think the 5-star receiver Cunningham picked Alabama. How much of those two things do you think factored into all of this?
Yeah, Bama was always kind of considered the team to be for Cunningham, so I don't think that has an impact. And yeah, I heard the Michigan thing maybe was a small factor, Darren, but I don't think he's going to Michigan. I really think this is Notre Dame, LSU. I might give LSU a slight advantage right now, but I think as this week goes on, I think Notre Dame's going to pull past them.
Okay, Mike Singer, Notre Dame football recruiting insider, Blue and Gold Illustrated, blueandgold.com. Could you just give a thumbnail sketch? You have laid out the talents and how much Meadows means to all these schools. Are there a couple of traits about Meadows that just makes him a little different, that a lot of teams just don't have this type of guy on their roster?
Yeah, we got to see him at Irish Invasion last year, and I had circled Meadows as a prospect going into it, that thinking, man, he's like 6'5". He was listed at 6'5", 195. And I'm like, and he's a wide receiver. As soon as you see that, you're like, all right, this guy's going to grow into a tight end. That's not that's not the case with Derek Meadows. He's now 6'6", 205 pounds. I believe that's verified. And he is, I mean, this long, lanky receiver, very good jump ball situations. He's a wide receiver number one kind of potential for these schools, LSU, Notre Dame, and other powerhouse programs. So, yeah, he looks like a creative player in EA college football. He looks like a road to glory guy. The new game mode for the EA college football 25 game, which I will definitely be playing. And I'll be tweeting about that. People that can actually watch me play this week as well. So yeah, Darren, that's again, he's impressive. The school he plays at, Bishop Gorman, is so dominant. They're blowing out most teams by halftime. So he hasn't put up like major numbers, but in camp settings, combines, track, like, yeah, you see he's a freak show.
All right, let's take a look at the Irish board. What does it look like at this time?
Yeah, so we can do this, Darren, because there's just not that many guys. We can go through the entire board. Like Notre Dame's got, is it 21 commits right now? And there's the receiver position's been the one to talk about the most here down the stretch. Tanook Hines has been one we've discussed. He's from Houston to Caney, announcing his commitment. So, Darren, we're recording this on Monday afternoon because I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday. I know your radio audience is going to hear this on Tuesday. Tanook Hines, as we record this, 12:30 Eastern time, Monday afternoon, he's announcing his commitment, and I believe it's going to be USC. I don't know. It's been a weird one to follow for the Irish. Like, I had heard that he had a really good official visit to South Bend, but just never got the sense that that Notre Dame was going to land him for various reasons. And then Dylan Robinson from California, he is announcing his commitment Thursday, and I believe Washington is the team to be going into that decision. And I had more information about my thoughts behind that in my article Monday morning that I published, the Gold Standard. You can find that again at blueandgold.com. So if they don't land Robinson, again, a receiver target for the Irish, or Hines, another receiver target for the Irish, that makes Derek Meadows even more important for the Irish. They have Jerome Bettis Jr. committed. They have Elijah Burris committed. They need probably two more receivers, and they need top talents. So you can't get Robinson. You can't get Hines. You need Derek Meadows. If they get Derek Meadows, you're getting I believe he would be Notre Dame's second highest ranked recruit in the class, according to the On3 industry ranking, just a couple spots behind Deuce Knight. But you're getting someone who makes you feel 10 times better about the 2025 receiver class.
Staff has been so good having backup plans for everything. At this stage in the 25 cycle, if you don't get Meadows, you can always flip someone, but how difficult is it going to be to fill out the wide receiver class if Meadows does not go their way?
Yeah, I mean they'll try to flip someone. They'll try to, and even if they get Meadows, I still think that they're gonna look for a fourth in the receiver class. But it's possible they may not want ruffle any feathers with a Meadows. Maybe they just say, hey, we'll take you. I don't know that yet, Darren. The staff's focus right now is just on really let's get Meadows. And of course Robinson as well, but I think he's trending towards Washington for later this week. But Logan Saldate is an example I've used. Notre Dame lost a commitment in the 24 cycle from Isaiah Canyon, and then they go out and identify Logan Saldate, who is an Oregon State commit and not very sought after, and he ends up a 4-star prospect per On3. So there's two routes that they can go, again, if they get Meadows or not, and landing a fourth receiver with Meadows or not. Of you flip someone, like Saldate was a flip, but that was also in a KK Smith, Texas Tech commit. But guys who are under the radar who pop to them after finding more information about them, or you just go big game hunting. And like we've seen Notre Dame try to flip guys from other powerhouse schools the past few years. I'm sure they'll try to do some stuff like that as well. So could they go after a former target who went elsewhere? Very possible. So kind of all options would be on the table at that point.
We're talking Notre Dame football recruiting with Mike Singer from Blue and Gold Illustrated, blueandgold.com. I'm Darren Pritchett from WSBT Radio. As we sit here, again, as we record this on July 15th, thinking about from now until the end of this 25 recruiting cycle, which member of the Notre Dame coaching staff do you believe has the most work to do or most challenges, whether it is keeping his group intact or adding on to his position group?
I like that, Darren. I just want to throw out real quick because I forgot. The receiver is not the only position on the board. So you got Brandon Logan, the Vanderbilt baseball commit. I like where the Irish are at for him. He's a really good safety prospect. I think the Irish will end up flipping him. And then there's really nothing new on the linebackers, Matt Freeman and Nathaniel Usu-Boateng. Usu-Boateng announcing sometime in the fall. Farimo, I think, will be in maybe August. I do like where the Irish are at for Fremo, but battling Texas. So I'm sorry, Darren, your question was
which member of the Irish coaching staff, whether it's just babysitting his 25 class or trying to add on, who do you think has the most work to do?
I mean, it's interesting because the class is close to being done.
Right.
I would say Mike Brown, especially if the Irish do want to go with 4 in this class, no matter what, at the receiver spot. You need to do more work even if you get Meadows. And if you do get Meadows, I bet you other schools are going to try to flip him because he's that good down the stretch. So Mike Brown in his first year as Notre Dame's wide receivers coach, this is not a slight on Jerome Bettis Jr. and Elijah Burris. I think they're both really good prospects. But if you were to rank the position groups, in Notre Dame, Notre Dame's 2025 class, I think receiver would be lower in your rankings where things stand right now. So Mike Brown's got to, hope the Irish close on Derek Meadows this week, and then we'll see where they go from there. But all eyes are on him right now.
I don't know if this is something you've asked these recruits because you have so much to ask them, but as we talked about earlier, this college football game is a big deal. Players are getting paid to have their name, image, and likeness involved in this game. Is this a big deal for kids to eventually see themselves in this college football game? Because I'm imagining if I'm a kid, that'd be the coolest thing ever to turn on a video game and here I can play myself in this video game.
Oh my gosh, yes, Darren. I remember when the NCAA 15 was not a thing. I remember recruits, I guess that would have been in the 2014 class, the first class I covered, were so upset. They were really like, I can't play as myself in this video game because that's something that they're absolutely excited about. So yeah, it's a huge deal, Darren. This video game coming back, it just feels like a win for everyone. No one is losing here. This is just something that literally everyone, like, it's hard for the country to unite on some things. This is one where everyone is fired up. There are no losers here.
All right. So are you going to be playing as Notre Dame right off the bat? What is your goal when you get the new game?
So on Monday, and again, this is all my Twitch stream. I'll be tweeting out a link. I will just be diving into the game as Notre Dame. I'll just play some exhibitions, practice mode, whatever, look at the different menus and really dive into it. And then Tuesday, I'm really excited about this, Darren. I got if you Google Tim Hyde, football coach, you will see Tim Hyde. He was a coach at Palisades in Southern California, head coach there. And he's got glasses that look like these that I just popped on for folks watching on YouTube, and then a blue visor. I bought that blue visor, like a $6 visor on Amazon. I got the glasses I picked out at Walmart a couple weeks ago. And I am full on role play as Tim Hyde. And I'm going to come up with a reason for why Riley Leonard cannot be my starting quarterback. I'm going to probably something, there was an issue with the transfer last minute and he was ruled ineligible or something like that. And Steve Angeli is going to be my QB1. It's obviously it's in fun. I'm just kind of, being a dork about it, but it is going to be a blast. So I will be playing as Notre Dame in my first dynasty as Tim Hyde.
Nice.
Leading Steve Angeli will be QB1. And I think, Mike Singer will be the recruiting coordinator. So there you go.
I was wondering if Angeli was going to be your guy.
Oh yeah. I got to lean into it, Darren. It's for fun. So I'm going to lean into it.